I've been told by employees that I'm cold and non-engaging. My peers say I charge hell with a bucket of water and sometimes sometimes forget to stop and fill the bucket. In military training, we all went through the mental part, and in battle, some won't engage properly. I treat my business the same way as I fought. In a firefight, my mind was clear, focused on the objective, and being aggressive always. Why should my business be any different? Delegate and don't quit until you accomplish the goal. Is this wrong?
So let's start with cold and non-engaging. I get that people have different levels of emotional responsiveness. I get that. I'm probably a little bit on the low end of that in terms of being super emotionally responsive.
Agree.
I don't really get mad. I don't usually get frustrated. But at the same time, as a leader, you have to show some emotion. And if you show no emotion at all, then you aren't a person, you're a robot. And robots don't really connect with people. And so you don't form any relationships. And if you don't form good relationships, you're not going to have a good leadership connection with your team. That's the way it is. So you got to show some emotions. You don't need to get all wild. And in fact, as a leader, your emotions should be controlled. They should be, if a normal person's emotions go from 1 to 10, a leader should be like, at 3, maybe 4. And they shouldn't go beyond that. And I've talked about this before. If my team's getting all emotional and I'm just all cold, I actually disconnect from my team, and all of a sudden they're looking at me like I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
that's a bad thing. Yeah, it doesn't even care. Same thing with your spouse. If your spouse is all mad about something and you're like, hey, just calm down, that's going to be a problem. You have to give them some emotions back. So show some emotions as a leader. You might even have to, manufacture that just a little bit. To let them see that you care. You got to do that with your kids sometimes.
Yes.
Because like your kid is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, but it's kind of funny. And it's hard to get mad at. Yeah. But you realize if you don't get mad and this behavior escalates, then that's problematic. Yeah. Like, are you kind of fired up when your kid does something, climbs up on a wall and is balancing, 8 feet in the air? Well, if they fall and crack their head, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. At the same time, you think it's kind of cool, but you have to reinforce safety. Yeah. And so you got to be like a little bit angry at them. Yeah. Right? Hey, I told you not to do that, right? Yeah. Kid running in the road or whatever. You got to reinforce stuff. Yeah. So you actually have to show some level of emotions. Now, as far as the other part of the question is aggression and never quitting, is that wrong? Well, quite frankly, yes. Yes, it can be very wrong. Of course, much of what the statement is, it makes sense, right? Be aggressive, don't quit, focus on the objective, charge into hell with a vengeance, right? We all like to hear that, right? That reflects a great attitude. I think everyone would expect me, and they would actually hear me say those things. The same exact things. Hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're never going to quit. We're going to take that objective no matter what. You would hear me say that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we have to remember that there are dichotomies in leadership, right? And taking what is normally a good attitude to an absolute extreme without any balance at all, that will turn into a problem. So it sounds like this individual is aggressive, which is a very positive trait, but it sounds like perhaps there are times when this individual might be too aggressive. Now, most people don't want to hear that, and they don't think they're going to hear that from me, right? You almost think when somebody asks me a question like this, you almost think in the back of their mind, they're going, you know what, Jocko's going to tell me, and I'm going to go even harder.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to get reinforcement from Jocko about how being aggressive is awesome. But here's the reality. And especially you throw like the firefight thing. Like Jocko's definitely gonna be on board with me now. But guess what? Here's the reality. If you're in a firefight and the enemy is in an elevated bunker position across open ground and you just keep attacking it with your platoon, what's gonna happen? I'll tell you what's gonna happen. You're all gonna die. That's what's gonna happen. So you're all fired up. You're all aggressive. You're never gonna quit, and you're all gonna die. Does that help us? Does that help us achieve our overall strategic objective? The answer is no. If you pull back for a minute, if you detach for a moment mentally and possibly physically as well, you will likely see that there's a better approach. Oh, how about we call for fire support? How about we put down some cover, lay down some suppressive fire and move around to the flank of the bunkered position? There's a bunch of different ways that you can get this done in a much more survivable way. But the fact is, if you're always aggressive and your mindset is I am not going to quit, then you won't see those other solutions. And yes, that is problematic. Yes, that is wrong. And it's the same thing in dealing with people. If people don't respond to your leadership and your reaction to that is just to get more and more aggressive with them, they aren't likely to come around, right? In fact, they are likely to either become hostile towards you because you're being aggressive towards them, or they break. Which each one of those is problematic, bad results. Either my team becomes hostile towards me or I break my team. Either way, it's bad. So being aggressive all the time, no, not good. And same thing could be like I default aggressive, right? I literally teach people to be that way. But if you go too far with it, you'll end up in a bad situation. Same thing with don't quit, right? Of course, don't quit. Great attitude. My attitude is I'm never going to quit. I want everyone on my team to have that attitude. I have that attitude. That's like the saying in the SEAL teams. Don't quit. Never quit. But you have to be very, very careful that you don't confuse don't quit with don't try any other solutions or don't deviate from the original plan no matter what. Hey, I'm not quitting. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm going to keep going forward with the same plan. The plan isn't working. Okay, but I'm not a quitter. I'm just going to keep doing the same plan. That's not good. That's not good. Don't quit means you don't give up. Don't quit actually means try different solutions if one of them isn't working. Don't quit means keep an open mind. Don't quit means you don't quit thinking. Don't quit thinking, and then don't quit means you continue to keep thinking and keep addressing a problem and keep attacking the problem until you do accomplish the mission. But you do that through multiple different avenues, not the same avenue the whole time. That's how you lead. That's how you get aggressive. That's how you actually never quit. And by the way, that is how you win.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that morale thing. Remember, you were talking about morale. Actually, a lot. Where, you know how like some bosses, they'll be like, hey, I'm not here to make you feel good, or I'm not here to make friends, or whatever. You know, and sometimes like behavior or whatever, thinking like that can lead to behavior that makes people like not want to work for you or not feel good about the job. Like, I'm not happy about what's the use of making someone do the job if they don't feel good about doing it? You know, like the morale is down. I used to think, well, morale, like people need to just toughen up, you know, like freaking morality. You don't just not do something just because you're not feeling good that day kind of thing. I thought that too. But man, if you have a group of people who they all don't want to do it, bro, they're not going to do it.
It's a problem.
At the end of the day, they're going to not do it.
Well, they might do that one thing that day.
Yeah, I mean,
and then over time they're going to break down for sure.
Yeah,
you're not leading them in the right direction.
Yeah,
you can look, forcing people to do things when you're in a position of authority. You can do that.
Yeah,
that works. That's functional. That's a thing. It'll work a little bit.
Yeah,
right. But over time, will you end up with a team that really will perform well and will continue to drive when they hit obstacles? No, you won't. You'll end up with a team that's doing what they're being told to do out of fear.
Yeah.
And that team is going to get beat by the team that is doing it because they want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's like, the guy who, I don't think that my boss cares about me. In fact, I think that he kind of doesn't care about me. That's what I think.
You're not going to do a lot of extra effort to support your boss if that's
I'm sure
the situation.
won't want to.